Welcome to the Welsh Wire. We are so glad that you joined us today. We talk about a wide variety of things on our podcast, all good information for leaders who want to be their best in the companies that they run and lead throughout West Michigan. And today, our podcast is done in cooperation with the Family Business Alliance in Grand Rapids. So we're talking about a really cool topic, women in the family business, which is great, obviously, for women, also family business owners. But if you're a leader and you're neither, listen in because there's some really exciting things that our guest today has to share with you. I'd love to introduce to you our special guest for this podcast, and that is Adrienne Heidema. Adrienne is the president and CEO of Consumers Concrete, which is headquartered in Kalamazoo. Adrienne, welcome to the Welsh Wire.
Thanks, Sheri. It's great to be here with you.
So, Adrienne, let's start by giving our listeners a little bit of background, right? So, I know you to be the fourth generation of leadership in a 90-year-old family business. Can we just stop right there and say that's pretty unique?
It is. And I'm very proud of my family for hanging on for the past 91 years.
As you absolutely should. It's amazing. And the other thing that I think is so interesting about what we're going to unpack today is you are a female leader in a construction business, the first female leader at Consumers Concrete in over 90 years. And everyone knows, I mean, construction, that's a male-dominated industry. So this is a really unique guest we're talking with today with some unique perspectives. Adrienne's got some cool things to share. And I know from prior conversations that you have some things specifically to share with women who are leaders in the family business and other leaders in family businesses as well. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. Adrienne, help our listeners understand a little bit about your career journey and what led you into your family business, because you didn't start your career at Consumers Concrete, did you?
I did not. I've been around the business peripherally, obviously, my whole life, but never had really intended to work for the family business. I studied accounting at Hope College and went into banking. So I spent over 20 years in working in banking at a variety of banking locations. I finished my banking career in Grand Rapids at Mercantile Bank. It was a great learning opportunity for me there. I learned so much from the management team. And when there was going to be a CEO change in our company, my husband, who has actually worked at the company for 27 years, he was working there when I wasn't ready to. He suggested that our retiring CEO talk to me. He thought I would be a really good fit. So I appreciate him for recognizing that in me, and then also encouraging me to talk to Bruce Blair, our former CEO.
That is great. So what at that point in your life made you think, I've been in banking for, 20 some years plus. What made you think, yeah, this is the right time for me personally to hang up my banking hat and move into the family business?
I loved my career. I loved the people had worked with, and I loved the company I worked for. But I really felt pulled that I could really help in the family business. I felt that with the background and what I had learned, I could bring that back to the family business. And there were just a lot of people there that I was pretty excited to work with as well.
Oh, that's great. So the opportunity for you personally, professionally, I mean, it was there. It was just the right timing.
It was the right timing.
And when you and I chatted, you shared with me that you felt that there was a lesson in that for other family business owners. And tell me what you meant by that. What do you think that is?
Career changes can happen at any time in your life. You might not ever plan on going back to the family business, but don't be afraid to reach out back to family members that have left the family business. They might be ready to come back and they may bring back some talents. We have 11 family members out of our 240 employees right now. And those 11 family members work in all areas of the business. And we have some fifth generation family members as well. And everybody kind of works where they're talented. And some people have worked in other industries and came back, and then others and brought their talents and the things they had learned back. But then we also have some that started right out in the family business as well. I have one of the fifth generation right now. He started kind of after high school. I don't think it was his plan. I know it wasn't his plan that this was going to be his career, but he has really fallen in love. He is working right now in our fleet maintenance. He leads our Kalamazoo garage team and does a phenomenal job. We had a family business or family breakfast this morning, and we all talked about one thing that was really positive that we enjoyed, and his is relationships. So he loves working with his coworkers. He loves working with the ready mix drivers. He loves working with the other guys that work with him in the garage. And he is just becoming a really strong leader, and he is very talented mechanic.
That is a great story. And I think it kind of brings together both perspectives that you hear and experiences that you see in the family business, right? So, for starters, a lot of family businesses will say, sister, brother, daughter, son, whatever, go out, get experience outside the family business and bring it back. That was your journey. That's what worked for you. And I think your lesson there is very clear. Like, talk to your family members, see if they're ready to come back. Even if you don't think they are, ask the question, invite them to consider it. It just might be perfect timing and it works.
Right.
You also hear people say, oh yeah, you got to get experience outside the family business. That's the only way it ever works to really successfully run. But you just shared a story about your male cousin who at the age of 18 started in the family business and is now a valuable member of the team, obviously a key family member in the leadership of the business. And so I think you've shared two different paths into leadership in the family business that seem to work equally. And it really doesn't matter what the age is or
Nope.
what the gender is. I mean, it's about talent and it's about timing and fit for the position, right?
Exactly. That's what our goal is, making sure people are in the right seats.
Yep. Yep. And so your cousin who's leading fleet management right now, I mean, he's clearly found his sweet spot as he's worked his way through the organization from the age of
Right.
18.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's running the Kalamazoo garage and doing a fantastic job.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, these great examples may open folks' minds to look at there's no one right way to do
There
it.
is not.
And you have to look at people's gifts, graces, and abilities, their talents,
Mm-hmm.
and see what works best for your organization. Great advice. Now, let's talk about you as the first woman leader at Consumers Concrete. So, this is a company that was led by your grandparents, right? Your dad is brothers for over 90 years, but the company does have a history of having women involved in the family business. You mentioned to me your grandma,
Right.
right? Tell us about her a little bit.
So I have had the joy of going back and reading board minutes and all things my grandma had written. So she was an officer of the company. It was actually her father that and his brother that and a friend that had started the company. So it comes to us through our grandmother, my cousins and I that are here, through my grandfather and then her husband, my grandfather. So she was very involved in the business, but kind of, peripherally in the background, just because that's how the kind of person that she was. But I'm very proud of her. It brings me so much joy to read her notes and to read her handwriting of the things that were happening in the 60s and the 70s. It also brings me comfort because I keep thinking these are new problems, but so many of the things they were dealing with, the roof is leaking, our trucks are getting old, are very similar issues that we continue to have. So while things change and technologies change, there's a lot of things that stay the same. And then my
Right.
dad spent years as the credit manager too. So one of my dad's two sisters, she worked for her career here as the credit manager. So The women have been included. I'm just the first person that's actually the in charge person.
Right, right. Yeah, right. You're the first woman CEO. Yes.
Correct.
But you moved into that role standing on the shoulders of some other really great women in the family
Right.
who were kind of trailblazers. Let's be honest. I mean, in the 60s and 70s, I don't think there were too many women in, let alone managerial positions, let alone leading departments and leading at a board level in a family business. Like
Right.
that's pretty unique and pretty
Right.
special.
Right.
So here you are now leading, and you tell the story about why you think Consumers Concrete is really a great place for women to work. So tell us more about that.
I think that working in the construction industry is so interesting. And think about all the people who like to be more hands on or be out in the field. And that applies to both genders. So
Sure
we have,
does.
yeah, I have always, I was an auditor for, that's what I did in banking. I enjoyed being out in the field and doing something different every day. So I think that's why construction is a good fit for me as well. So I would encourage, we have a couple of really good women who are truck drivers. One of them, we helped get her CDL. One was already driving ready mix trucks when she came with us. But we will help people get their CDL. So we call it a loader to driver training. So they can start working in our yard driving a front end loader. And then we will help them get their CDL so that they can drive a ready mix truck. And so Melissa, one of our drivers out of Three Rivers, that's what she did. And she and Jessica are both phenomenal drivers, and I'm very proud of both of them. And then we also have women that work out in the field in technical services. Carrie is just phenomenal, and she is so good at her job. On the technical side, she can tell you everything about concrete and strengths and brakes and what the mix designs are. So there are a lot of field jobs for women in construction now.
That is really exciting. And you're a real champion for that.
Yes, very much so.
There and you're actually as an organization, I mean, supporting that when you talk about trying to recruit women in to be CDL drivers and give them the training and show
Right,
them the career path they can have with the organization and why a role like this works really well, even if you're a mom with kids, right? It's a
right,
great job, it's a great
right,
paying job. We're going to train you on how to do it. You
right,
have a future with a company like ours. I mean, I think that's fantastic and opening up a world of possibility for women in an industry that previously probably a lot of women wouldn't have considered, right? For
right,
a whole host of reasons, but you're a real champion to raise awareness of, hey, these are great paying jobs and they're great for women too.
right, right.
I love that. I love that. And then your other perspective that you shared with me, which I think actually might be my favorite one, Adrienne, and it's just really simple. And tell us what that is. It's two simple words.
Just buying local. Is that what you're referring to, Sheri?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am very proud to be locally owned and really proud that we are providing infrastructure materials for all of our building, for our community, for our roads, for our schools, and it's all produced here locally. We are West Michigan, so Lansing, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. I feel like, with communication, with doing Zoom, things are, our West Michigan community is pretty small. I have worked in Grand Rapids for years and commuted, family in Holland, family in St. Joe, family in the Lansing area. So we're a pretty small West Michigan community. So proud to be a part of all of that. But, our materials, you're not going to haul stone from very far away. So our sand, our gravel, our limestone is, we'd like to say, pure Michigan, and we did get the pure Michigan certification. Our cement comes from Michigan as well, whether it's Alpena or Charlevoix. There's also some really good cement coming out of Indiana. So, here locally in the Midwest, it's all produced. And then I'm so proud. You walk in schools and you think about when you were a kid sitting in the hallway with the book over your head and tornado drills. You know, the resilience of concrete and concrete block, and that is why that's a safe place, and why it continues to be a safe place. You know, you see those painted concrete blocks, and that, you know, brings you back to elementary school, doesn't it?
It sure does. It sure, oh, I remember those days. Holy cow, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. But yet, that is such an interesting perspective that you have, that not only are you a local company, but you do your sourcing of materials locally and throughout the state of Michigan. And then to your point, your customers are
Right.
all local because you don't
Right.
truck concrete across the US. It's just not
No.
cost effective. So you
Right.
work with, so your whole perspective as an organization is buy local, support local, do everything you can to support your local West Michigan economy, which I think is so cool. And, you know, for a lot of family businesses, a lot of small businesses, I think that that's an approach and an advocacy position that really, you know, feels good. So
Right.
applaud you for that, because what goes around comes around, right?
Right. Yeah, we're reinvesting in our community, and we love to help out the different nonprofits in our area. We've worked with Habitat, providing materials. We did a ICF, insulated concrete forms home in the Grand Rapids area, and helped with that. You know, we've done all sorts of things. Uh, I get requests all the time. You know, schools and little leagues need dugouts. All different things that we've been able to help with, because people buy from us, so we're able to give back to the community as well.
Absolutely, which is so fantastic and so appreciated by everyone who lives, you know, calls West Michigan home, lives, works, and plays here. So thank you for all you do in that respect. Your story is really incredible, and I so appreciate you candidly sharing your leadership journey, your thoughts about being a trailblazing woman in your family business. But Adrienne, let me ask you as we close here, if our listeners are interested in reaching out to you, learning more about what you do, how you do it at Consumers Concrete, who you are, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, they can check out our website at consumersconcrete.com, but also my email. My email is asheidema at consumersconcrete.com.
Wonderful. We've been chatting today with Adrienne Heidema, the CEO of Consumers Concrete in Kalamazoo, on this podcast, Women in the Family Business with the Family Business Alliance. Adrienne, thank you so much for being our guest today. What a delight.
Thank you for having me.